Marshawn is a fresher breath of air. He just loved chain restaurants. Matter of fact, he ate at Applebee's 12 times during the 5 week.
I love each and most of you guys.
That really is still swollen, isn't it? It kind of looks like a football, actually.
Thank you for that.
The stitching, you got it.
Thank you.
Well,
Hey, D, I like donuts, baby. Let's go.
Stay focused. Work hard in school. You might not like school, but make sure you're working hard at school.
Them Bills are bombs. Them Bills are bombs.
It's your boy DM3, and you're listening to the Witty Not Funny Sports Podcast on the Built in Buffalo Podcast Network.
Witty Nation, welcome to Witty Not Funny Sports Live, presented by Traveling Growler, the #1 self-rated Buffalo sports show covering the Bills, Sabres, entertainment, and everything in between. And as always, part of the Built in Buffalo network. Go follow us on Twitter right there at the bottom, at Witty Sports 716. We love connecting with Bills Mafia, all the Buffalo sports fans out there. And make sure you check out everything Built in Buffalo is giving you every single day. Hopefully you came from the basement upstairs to our show. But every single day, Bills in Buffalo's got the best Bills content out there. Make sure you go check us out and check all the shows out. And if you can, for 1 second, hit that like. We want your comments. Today's a big comment show, folks. Like, we are in our feels for the most part, even 4 days later from this Bills game. So leave your comments. Let us know how you're feeling. If you're still feeling ill, if you've overcome that bad feeling and are feeling okay, let us know in the comments, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Tony, before we get started with our intro, let's plug the podcast store. Teespring.com, search Witty Not Funny, or Google search Teespring Witty Not Funny. Check out all the designs we have going on. It's the off season. You can still support the podcast by an awesome t-shirt, sweatshirt, crew neck, long sleeve, all original designs, all awesome, all very reasonably priced. We don't make barely any money from this. We just want to give you cool stuff, and we want you to buy cool stuff, and then maybe support the podcast on the side. So thank you, everyone, for checking that out. Teespring, Witty Not Funny, Google search. We are your hosts. I am Matt. He is Tony. Tony, 4 days later, how are we feeling?
I would say I'm.
Are you nonchalant about it?
I'm pretty close to the acceptance phase.
Okay.
I'm letting it roll off me, like a bead of water on a spring day. It is rolling with the punches. I'm numb. I'm numb to it at this point.
It is like a deja vu. I put in the episode description the quote from Russ Cole of True Detective, and I've been watching True Detective, like the new season, Night Country, and it's awesome, by the way. So go check that out if you like, because you have no Bills games to watch now. But season 1, Matthew McConaughey's character is like, time is a flat circle. Like, everything that happens, it happens again. And that's what this feels like. Like, this feels like a flat circle. Like, we've been here before. It is Groundhog's Day. It is Bill Murray. It's deja vu. It's everything that we felt pretty much exactly a year ago, just rearing its ugly head again.
I don't know. I think this is a completely different set of emotions for me than last year, because it wasn't. Last year was charged with bad mojo. The Bengals, we knew how that was going on. A lot of history from a couple weeks prior, and because T. Higgins tried to kill a guy, and then this is
that.
Like, what?
Oh yeah, that.
Right. And so this is, I don't know, the way that this went down. This just went down. And actually, in 2 years prior was a completely different set of emotions, because that was, one of the best NFL games that most of us have seen, in our lifetimes. If you're looking at it objectively, I mean, it was like the worst thing ever, but it was a great game, all-timer of a game. This was just like a normal NFL game. And we didn't turn out on the other side of it as victors, but I don't know, like, it's not, there's not that much to be. You can choose to be angry, but you can also choose not to be angry, and you would be justified in both. And you would be looking for reasons to be angry if you wanted to be angry, I think. But it
What was
sucks.
the? Oh, it definitely sucks. Yeah, it's just again like I said last week, and this is why again I was just completely nervous about this game, not due to the fact that I didn't think we were a better team. Like we could very well have beat the Chiefs, and there was many moments throughout this game, and we'll get into all the moments in a couple minutes here when we recap the game. But um, I don't know, like it, I didn't have like any feeling. Like I was completely numb to it after the
Yeah.
game because I just said, as I said last week, I just don't think we can beat that. It's just like this aura, this vibe. We're a big vibe show, of course, as people know, but it's the drought era Patriots. And yes, we're a more talented team, but that team can never beat the Patriots, like, except for a handful of fluky times. But this feels like the new Patriots. No matter what happens, no matter what the scenario is, no matter what the environment is, no matter what differentiating variables there are, whether it's at home or away, whether somebody's hurt or not hurt, whether Josh Allen puts up 4 touchdowns or has a stinker, like we just can't find a way to beat these guys. That's what it felt like. So I was just like, it's kind of what I expected, honestly.
Well, I don't have those sets of feelings. First of all, because we've seen them get beaten by the Bills many times in the regular season. But I also don't think that, I don't know, like people say we can't do it. And I'm just like, I think can't is a weird word to choose in that situation. We didn't. We can. It's not like if we played them 10 straight times, we would lose 10 straight times, I don't think. I think it's, if we played them 10 times, we would win 6. And we happen to have just, 3 of the 4 have been knocked in there. As far as what's closing out our seasons. It's not that we can't. We can. We were 3 points differential in this game. They've been like 1 scores. We can. There's a million scenarios that make it that we can. We can. We just
I know we can. We just haven't.
Well, that's not what you said, Matt.
Can. No, but it's just like when we have the opportunity to execute, and that's what it comes down to, is just pure execution. It just seems like we never have that moment for us. It's like the Travis Kelce touchdown. We're getting into the weeds here a little early, but that's okay. It's like the Travis Kelce touchdown, complete breakdown of the defense. It's like, why can't the Chiefs have a breakdown of the defense? It just never happens for us that way. It's always against us. It's just, it's deja vu. Like,
I would almost submit.
We're the goldfish.
I would almost submit a stronger argument is to say we can't go to 20 weeks if you want to choose a can't. It's because as flat, we didn't seem as flat this time as we did, last year against the Bengals, but there was a flatness to it. There was not a flatness to Josh. I think my biggest criticism, not to be in the weeds, as you said, but one of my biggest criticisms is more so than any game maybe I've watched this season, I'm seeing what many are seeing in that so much weight is on Josh's shoulders of carrying everything.
Oh yeah.
And no one else is stepping up. No one else is bringing it. No one else is willing to to help carry that weight.
The occasion.
Yeah. Yes. Rise to the occasion is a beautiful way of putting it. Rise to the occasion is a beautiful way of putting it. So if Josh is rising to the occasion, but nobody else is, it's almost as though Josh is the only one who has the endurance to make it past 19 weeks.
Right. That's the only guy. And
yeah,
we'll get into it. Tony, I thought you'd be more nonchalant about this. I'm not going to lie.
I think I am being nonchalant. I'm being pretty even-keeled. I'm not like that
your
meme.
Shirt does not say the word.
Yeah, I know. This shirt, as I told you before the show, this shirt was part of a David Rose costume from many years ago, Halloween, Schitt's Creek, and it somehow found its way into my regular rotation. Here we are.
Great shirt. It's a great shirt. It's just like, I don't know. When you were speaking there, for some reason, my mind went to Ben Stiller's character in Happy Gilmore, and we're the grandma, and we want to stop at knitting, but we need
Right.
that Ben
Our fingers
Stiller
hurt.
crazy. Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
Like my fingers hurt. I want to stop, but we need that Ben Stiller character to say, "Well, guess what? You just pulled lawn duty. We need someone to push
Right.
us
You want like an
to
authoritarian in
level, to
there
that
to
next
crack the whip.
stage." Yeah, that's what I thought
Okay.
of. I'm like, we want that guy. Like, if we're peaking at knitting because my fingers hurt, like we need someone to push us to lawn service duty or whatever Ben Stiller says in Happy Gilmore. But Tony, let's get into some comments here. What up,
Okay.
Chris and Christopher?
Whoa,
Two spelling names, nice.
whoa. That's too much. That's too confusing.
Too confusing.
Someone's gonna
Martin,
have to
thank
stop
you.
watching.
Smash that like for these gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, anyone who's watching. Please smash that like. We really do appreciate it. Give us some love. Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching on the Built in Buffalo Network. Roy, love when Roy comments. This game wants to show me Josh doesn't have enough weapons. Absolutely. We'll get into
Yep, that's
Josh's
what we're saying.
weapons or lack thereof. Kind of like being divorced twice. Perfect. Yeah, so great comments. Tony, what do you say we really dive into this game? And I don't want to look at it in a vacuum. We'll look at it kind of in the long term of how this team is going to look moving forward. But what do you say we get into it here and send it to a guy who never disappoints us, who always rises to the occasion, and that's Mr. Marv Levy.
I feel like I can think of 4 times he didn't rise to the occasion, but whatever. Yeah, send it over there.
The man is 90 plus years old. Why do you have to kick him when he's down like that?
It was a long time ago. We're all over it.
He probably doesn't remember.
Do you think
Golden generation.
The thing about Marv is that he's like the only legend I feel like who hasn't sort of like had their name sullied in some way.
Oh, sure.
You know, everyone's like, now we've grown up and we're like, oh yeah, but this player was a
Marv is the purest thing we have.
Yeah, Marv is the pure. Marv is the one who stays pure. Yes.
I mean, he could have easily went the Russ Brandon route, but no, Marv, heart of gold.
Well, he did in the sense that he was GM like Russ Brandon. So
I'm talking non-football related things, but anyway.
Oh, I gotcha.
What do you say we send it to Marv?
Okay, yeah, send it
great
over.
Great power comes great responsibility. Marv is the best. That's right. Let's send it to Marv. We will be back after the break.
Go, Bills fight, Bills go. Come on, let's win for Buffalo.
And we are back. Listeners, viewers, if you haven't yet, hit that like, comment. We love comments. We want this to be a big comment episode. So tell us how you're feeling. Tell us your thoughts about the Bills players as we get into it here. Tony, listeners, viewers, we have to start off the whole game review the same way we start off every week. Our last one of the season, the So Bad It's Good review. Tony, I thought I'd do it a little differently this time around.
I read your notes and I was curious about what any of this meant. So I'm looking forward to this performance. And I will say there are 27 viewers out there and hundreds to thousands more in posterity who should also be looking forward to this performance. So I'm just going to sit back here in seat 6.
All right, I got to take 2 seconds to get into character. Vamp for a little bit.
I don't really know what vamp means, but I guess that's podcast talk for something. Matt has gone off screen for the first time in the history of this show. I know what to expect is something. I feel like he's going to come back something from sort of a beatnik era is what I'm thinking.
Slam poetry, Matt.
Yes.
This is my prison mic moment. Slam poetry, Matt. I'm in a sad state of affairs.
When you came back, you looked a little bit like Josh McDaniels. Or Josh McDaniel. Or no, what's his name?
Mike McDaniel?
Yeah, Mike McDaniel. Yeah.
If I can only have capris and I can only pull them off as well as he does. All right, you ready to go here? Divisional round
Mike McDaniel
recap?
would wear the shirt I'm wearing. Yeah, okay, go ahead. I'm ready.
All right, Sadness Factory, begin. Here we go. Divisional round. In the shadows of the wall, where tears silently fall. Josh Allen and the Bills, dreams in their gaze, crushed by the Chiefs in another heart-wrenching process phase. On the frozen field where hope once stood tall, now lies shattered like he-wolf breaking through a wall. Allen's passes, a symphony of despair, falling short in the frigid air. Bills Mafia, their cheers turned to cries as victory slipped away like Swifties' goodbyes. A shirtless Kelsey, not haunted by regret, getting embraced by the opposition, a moment they will never forget. Oh, the ache in Buffalo, a city's lament, as the Chiefs celebrated, leaving sorrow unspent. A Bills field goal, a cruel twist of fate, leaving fans disheartened as they exit through the stadium gate. But let's not forget the passion that burns in the hearts of players and Josh Norman's Ferns. The agony of defeat, a bitter pill to swallow, in sorrow and Diggs' cryptic tweets to follow. In sounds of a loss, a sad, sad song for the Bills who fought so valiantly and strong. Maybe now they will bring back the table of ping pong. In defeat's aftermath, a spirit renewed, but in pain, sadness, despair, agony, grief, misery, the Bills once again lose. 24-27. And that's the So Bad It's Good review. Final one of the season. Snaps all around. Snap, snap, snaps. Tony, thoughts?
What do you think about snaps with like your ring finger and your middle finger? And your forefinger.
Isn't that how you always snap?
Is it? Like 1, 2, like I'm doing 3 snaps with 3 different fingers here.
Oh, well, that's just talent. My goodness.
I think
Isaiah
I should go.
McKenzie, look out. America's Got Talent's got a new Bills member.
I'm saying, I think I'm going to enter some open mics just as an audience member.
Just a snap?
Yeah, just a snap. I'm like,
we should do that instead of the
check this out.
Instead of the shout song.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Just after touchdowns, just a stadium full of snaps.
Yeah. Everyone's shouting. I'm just sitting nonchalantly.
Oh, that would be very funny.
The poem was All of Us. And it was really good. I was really thrown off when you changed the rhyme scheme to add in that table of ping pong.
Yeah, I switched it up a little.
But it was
not perfect.
It was there.
No Robert Frost over here.
No. It would have been boring otherwise. It would have been predictable. It would have been high school. This is artistry, is what I saw. You let the art take you. You didn't take the art.
I did. I let the art flow through me.
That's what it's about. I wish you put the scarf was back on. I don't know why that came off.
I know. I kind of regret taking it off. I thought it was a decent look.
Mm-hmm.
Very decent. Let's get into the game, though. Just
you gonna turn off the music or what?
Is the music not off? I thought it turned off. Oh, my bad, everyone. Well, you get some good music on the back end. Sorry about that. I must have not turned it off. I thought I did. Anyway, roller coaster of a game again. Tony, you were there.
Mm-hmm.
You were at the stadium. So give us, as we did last week for the wildcard round, give us our at the stadium vibe checks. Feeling going in, feeling at the tailgate, feelings during the game, and then, of course, probably sadness after the game. So we don't really need to recap that, but maybe just kind of the mood as people walk back to their cars. Was it complete despair, or was it just kind of acceptance? Tell us your day on Sunday.
Okay, I'll tell you my day. Well, I was excited that with the late start, I could have a real morning, ate breakfast, did some stuff. It was fantastic. So then, let's see. The vibe in there was routine, was business as usual, but I think that was I think that's how the crowd collectively put it out there externally and conveyed it. And that is but internally, I think there was a tension. And I think that most of us were feeling a tension, a cautious optimism. For me, I was just I didn't feel like we were going to win, but I did not feel like we were going to lose. And that meant more to me than feeling like maybe we would win. Because I feel like when it's the last of something, the end of an era, I feel like when it's the last time someone will do something or the last time I do something, I feel like you kind of get like a vibe in there. You kind of get like a graduation goggles thing. And yeah, I can just kind of tell, even if it's not official, and just feel like, I think this is it. I did not have that feeling. So I thought hope existed. And going into the game, I thought everyone's predicting this is going to be like insanely loud and raucous. I was predicting it was going to be about the equivalent of the Steelers game.
Yeah.
To me, it was probably about the equivalent of the Steelers game. It was like, I think at this point in the season, everyone who's in that stadium is a veteran of being a member of the 12th man. Everyone knew what they're doing. Everyone knows where their limits are. Everyone knows what's going on. I had fantastic people around me. I would say like that was very exciting. And of any game that I went to this season, the most like Bills fans, the fewest away fans. It was all Bills in there. Very, very few Chiefs fans. So that was great. I don't know. We took care of business. We did our business. Everyone at halftime was tense but cautiously optimistic. Everyone was cautiously optimistic until it started to feel like it fell apart, and then it started to feel like it fell apart. But then even afterwards, I think the vibe was that's the way it goes sometimes. You know, I didn't see any – I don't think that we were sent on enough of an up and down roller coaster to be incredibly moved by it. I think it was just like, yeah, like you could find your way into blaming Tyler Bass. Yeah, you could find your way into being like they didn't execute this or that. Some stupid moves here and there, some bad calls here and there, but was any of it like the thing that we're going to leech onto and say that was bullshit? I don't know if any of it is there enough. I don't know if any of that exists enough to do that. So the attitude in the parking lot was just like, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
But my attitude was that, you know, every team ends their season disappointed except for one. And so most of the time, vast majority of the time, you're going to end up with this disappointing night. And that's going to enter you into the offseason, and that's sports.
You mentioned the moment you thought it was over. You felt the stadium felt it was over. What was that moment for you? Was it the Damar Hamlin fake punt?
No. I kind of thought, I mean, I wanted to believe a few plays before that. I wanted to believe since the fumble, but well before the fumble, I was like, this isn't happening. You know, the Chiefs fumble through the end zone is what I mean. The Mecole Hardman fumble. Well before that, I was like, I can tell this isn't happening. Like we don't have it anymore. We're not bringing the juice anymore, and that's not going to be good enough anymore. I would say I don't know. Sometime during that drive, I would say when we punted towards that drive, I guess is when we did that. But I don't know. It's hazy. It's hazy.
Did you feel like this whole game was just against the Bills, despite it being at home? Like all the attention was Taylor Swift, Jason Kelce, that ego hog, for lack of a better phrase, Peppa Pig. Like it felt like it should have been like a Bills celebration. It was just like all these Chiefs things going on. Like it felt like the Chiefs really came into Orchard Park. Maybe not their fan base, as you mentioned, but just the media attention around it, especially as the game started, of just who's there, what are we going to put the cameras on?
Yep.
What are the talking points? Yeah, it just felt like not to be like this guy, but the NFL kind of wanted the Chiefs to win.
I don't know that they did, but maybe they did. I don't know. I would say I would say my attitude about that is that there's like all the storylines followed the Chiefs, I think, and there was a lot going on with this game. I don't know that they wanted it to win. I think that what's happening with the Chiefs just afforded it to be able to win, and then always underscoring that this is like a revenge game because now they're coming into our house. As Bruce said, Bruce was the legend of the game. He messed it up a little, but I liked that because of any game I went to this year, only one person did it fully incorrectly. So it was, I don't know. Everything was
Drew Bledsoe.
no, Drew Bledsoe was the worst. Everything was off. I was concerned, and I blame us, Matt. I blame you and me, as any real Bills fan does, because we brought the podcast out of my basement and out of your side room. And what do you expect when you break a routine like that? Not broadcasting from seats 5 and 6 down here in my basement, but going on an electric bike.
25,000 arm reps. Come on.
Exactly.
I thought I was gonna
So you were exhausted.
I think we should have started the show like our White Goodman moment. Another Ben Stiller reference. I don't know why I'm on a Ben Stiller kick today, but like White Goodman at the end of Dodgeball, just like sitting on the couch, just like eating away his feelings. Like we worked out last week and now we're in shape, and a week later we're just a mess.
In some senses, yeah. So breaking that routine, did a questionable order of my pants layers. A million things happened.
So many questions. So many choices.
So many questions that can only be answered in an existential way. We'll never know.
Do you think there was a fix to the game? Jay says. Thank you for comments, everyone, by the way. Keep them coming. No, I don't think there was a fix to the game. I just think the Bills build at the wrong time, as they always do. Listen, it comes down to...
I don't trust Sean Hockley at all, but I don't think it was...
No, we never trust the Hockleys. I don't trust that whole family.
Right.
Ed Pipes Hockley, his dad, Sean Hockley. Oh, mid-show Tony sneeze. Pause. Good.
All right.
You good?
I guess, yeah.
That's becoming a weekly thing.
Is it? Did I sneeze last week?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
Well, that's not good.
Anyway, the Hockleys, maybe you need a humidifier in whatever room you're in. The Hockleys have something against the Bills, we know that. But it just, I don't know. Like, if you want to look at it glass half full, it's like this team is like 3 plays away from really getting over the hump. It's a Stephon Diggs catch. It's a Josh decision there. It's whatever here. Like, it's a one defensive stop in any of these games, please. Just one defensive stop. Like, is that so much to ask? The Chiefs had 5 total third downs this whole game. Yes, they were 1 for 5 on third down. Great. You also didn't cause any third downs,
right?
For them to be successful or unsuccessful at. So it was just it's just the Bills build at the wrong time, and I don't know. That's the glass half full approach. The glass half empty approach is what I said earlier. Is just this team is never going to get by the Chiefs. Andy Reid's always going to outcoach Sean McDermott, and anonymous random players are going to step up and make a play, whether it's Valdez-Scantling or whatever his name is, Valdez-Scantling making a catch, or McCole Hardman making a play. Like, that's the other thing is like the talk is like, oh, Josh needs more weapons. Like, well, what weapons does Josh not have that Patrick Mahomes does have? When you compare the two,
I was thinking about that.
Josh has much better weapons right here and right now than Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs do. But the Chiefs just find a way to win. It's just the like I said, the Billsiest things happening at the Billsiest times. It's Deion Dawkins getting pushed back for the first time in the whole game into Josh Allen, when if he just held his block for one more second or held his ground for one more second, Josh hits He Wolf Khalil Shakir in the end zone, can get that ball there. Like, it's just the most inopportune times that these things happen against this team, and it's just like I said, time's a flat circle. It's just is what it is. Like I'll believe it when I see it. I'm sorry. Like we're just always gonna Bills it up at the wrong times against this team, and it's not gonna get easier. That's the thing. It's not gonna get easier. Joe Burrow wasn't in the picture this time around, or the Bengals, and not to say like anything fluky or whatever variable couldn't happen. Like Patrick Mahomes very well could get hurt. Josh Allen could get hurt next year. Like we don't know what variables or what the future holds for any of these teams. But this year it was Joe Burrow, Cincinnati not in the playoffs. Justin Herbert, Chargers not in the playoffs. Also have a new coach in Jim Harbaugh, which you got to think they're pretty pumped up for. So you got to think they're back in the mix. CJ Stroud now and the Texans making strides this year. Do they have a sophomore slump? Maybe. We'll see. But it's not getting any easier. The Dolphins are now in the mix, I think, on a fairly consistent basis. Like, if this wasn't the time to beat the Chiefs and get over this hump and possibly make a Super Bowl, I'm not saying the window's closing because I'll never say that as long as Josh Allen is our quarterback, but it's not an easy road, and it probably won't get easier as the years go by here. So that's the gut punch for me. It's like, this is the scenario we wanted. We wanted the Chiefs at home, finally. We wanted the Chiefs in a depleted state. This isn't the same Chiefs of yesteryears with Tyreek Hill and an unstoppable offense run by Eric Bieniemy. Like, this Chiefs offense was kind of mediocre this year. Yes, they had a better defense, but you look at the stats of this game, Josh Allen was incredible against a better Chiefs defense. Like, it always just comes down to 2 or 3 plays. I'm not saying Tyler Bass's kick would have been that 1 or 2 things that needed to be happen, because the Chiefs could have very well marched down the field and scored, but it's just they Bills it up at the wrong time. So that's my rant. I don't know. This is going to be a very, for the next half hour, a very like just
It's
ranty,
cathartic.
like go off on tangents, because that's a mood I'm in. There's no rhyme or reason to anything that comes
The
out of my
mood
mouth.
we're all in, Matt. That's how it goes. That's what the end of the season means for all of us. But it means something different to all of us as well. So really it's, do the Chiefs have this? I don't know. I think the big difference between the Bills and the Chiefs is was 2 factors. Our respective healths, the status of our health, the status of each team's health. What?
Hells with a V.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
status
sure.
of the health of each team and the schemes of each team. I will say, now you said the sentence, Andy Reid is always going to outcoach Sean McDermott. I don't choose to put it that way, but I choose to put it as Andy Reid's staff will always outcoach Sean McDermott's staff, because I'm like, I put a lot of this on Joe Brady.
Really?
Because I was not impressed with the offense in this game. I was not impressed with the play calling in this game. I thought it was incredibly predictable. And then it took Joe Brady too long to realize that they realized we're going to run the same 3 concepts over and over of run up the middle, pass into the flat, 3rd down pass at the line to Kincaid. It was that every single time. And then it took Joe Brady way too long to realize that they caught on. Like, I need an offensive coordinator who is 1 step ahead of them, of saying they're going to catch on at this point, so I need to be 1 step ahead of that, instead of having 2, unsuccessful drives or whatever. So I don't know. I did not like that. I thought that a lot of players were underutilized. Obviously, Shakir had a lot of production. Obviously, Josh carried the whole thing. We agreed on that. Steph, okay. A lot of the Gabe Davis factor was maybe a piece to that, and I only say that because Gabe tends to step up against the Chiefs.
Right.
And good blocking. So I I don't know. There were a lot of moments that I'm just like, that's what you're gonna do. Like that's it. Come on. Like I would have liked to see a little bit more excitement out of the offense and a little bit less, not methodical, but a little bit less fear out of the offense. It was an offensive play calling scheme that did tend to see like the trope on McDermott of that we're playing not to lose instead of playing to win. Now then, similarly, who do I put? The biggest collapse of any Bills unit was the special teams towards the end. Fourth quarter, special teams. If you're going to put it on any coach, like Smiley, I'm frowning. I'm frowning at Smiley. I'm grimacing. I'm grimacing at Smiley. Yes. Like that run to Hamlin, we all got up from that. And I was like, oh, we're punting? Like, this kind of sucks. And I was like, well, maybe it's a fake. And then it was the worst fake I've ever seen. Like, it was
right.
It was
like Colt Anderson should be out there.
Yes, like give me anything. Like if you're gonna go for it on 4th and 4, put that ball.
Just leave your offense out there.
Hands. Yeah, just leave your offense out there.
Yeah.
Don't try to trick anybody with this. Like this is silly. There was the wrong play at the wrong time, a dumb play at an important time. I hate fake punt runs. I love fake punt passes.
Right. Brian Moorman was great at the fake punt kick passes.
We all remember those as incredible.
And he ran them to Ryan Dennehy. That's how much they worked. You could run them with Ryan Dennehy, the most bland, forgettable guy ever to put on a Bills uniform.
And Brian Moorman was in town.
What?
We could have put him out there.
And we needed a punter because Sam Martin was hurt.
That's what I'm saying.
How
old's Brian Moorman? Like 52?
Brandon Bean. Where are you on this one?
Paging Mr. Bean. So I don't know. That was awful. And then everything that the special teams unit was doing was not great. So I blame a lot on that. Really. So and I say this because there's a lot of people saying McDermott can't get us over the hump. McDermott can't do this. McDermott can't do that. We've reached our ceiling on McDermott. It's not all on McDermott. There's a lot of it. Like the defense is the thing we're worried about the least. If anything, like McDermott is of the 3 coordinators, McDermott is the one I'm least worried about. All you need is to get lucky, I guess, on the next innovative offensive coordinator, and all of a sudden we're cooking.
I don't know. Let's start with the fake punt. Agree. It was the worst play at the worst time. If you are going to do that,
people are like, if I may interrupt, people are like McDermott's fake punt was a fireable offense. Is it McDermott's fake punt? I bet you he did not design that play. I bet you he's also not in charge of special teams and does virtually nothing with them. So, and I bet you all he said was...
But he is the decision maker in the end.
Well, yeah, but at max, all he said was either run that fake punt or he said, we're going to go for it. And Smiley said, let's do this fake punt that I have.
It was dumb.
I guess we'll never know.
It was just the dumbest thing.
It was dumb.
I guess we'll never know. It's just like the squib kick, 13 seconds. Like we'll never know who's to blame, but who was the special teams coordinator? Heath Farwell at the time?
Was that his name? That name sounds made up, but it might be it.
I think it was. If I were to make up a name, Heath Farwell is like really clever made up name.
I think the name Heath. Whenever I hear the name Heath,
so maybe because I had a Heath candy bar. This
sounds
afternoon.
Like a made up name.
I don't know.
Yeah, like I'm just making up names based on what I see around me. Like, oh yeah, it's Heath Government Review.
Heath candy bar. Review? Yeah,
right.
It's the usual suspects, right? And I saw a well from far away today driving. Like that's how I came up with the name. No, dumbest play. If you're going to run that play and you decide to run that play, why DeMar Hamlin? Not only are you asking DeMar Hamlin to get it on a 4th and I think it was 5 at the time, he's now taking the snap 10, 11 yards back. Now you're asking him to get 10 yards. Just put any kind of weapon back there. and disguise it at least. Like maybe disguise it and don't run the fake punt. Or maybe if you do realize they have 10 guys out there, which I believe they did, the Chiefs did, maybe you put Deontay Hardy back there or you put Trent Sherfield. I'm guessing the special teams players of the Chiefs aren't like taking vigorous notes on like, okay, this guy's out here and this guy's not, and this guy's in this position and this guy's not. Like this isn't right. It might be a fake. I don't know. In that moment, I don't think the Chiefs players are going to be that keen to what is going on. Also, don't run that play to the short side of the field. It's very dumb. Like, do it in space. Like, run him out and then give him an option to pass. Like, just do something else. If you run into the far side of the field and the space is there to take off for a first down and run, great. If it's not there and you're like, oh shit, we're screwed, maybe he can throw it up to someone else. Like, give him an option. You did nothing of the sort. It was dead from the beginning. It was Colt Anderson and the Colts. Like Google YouTube that play, the worst special teams play ever. Colt Anderson and the Colts. Former Bill great Colt Anderson, of course.
Sure.
It was just the worst time. And then
do you think
in terms of Sean McDermott's
name?
Yes.
It had to be a factor in there, right?
Had to be.
Like Courtney Brown.
This is coming.
Like when the Browns.
This is coming from the podcast that wants us to sign Bumper Pool based on his name.
Yeah, but Bumper Pool was good. He's an exciting player.
Bumper Pool's great. Get him on.
Where's his future reserves contract? That also is with the Colts.
Bumper Pool? Oh, JoJo Doman.
Oh yeah, JoJo Doman. That's right. Yeah, JoJo Doman.
Gosh, you're like the biggest JoJo Doman fan ever.
I still am. Just forgot his name briefly.
As we all do when we're big fans of someone. What's that quarterback we have? I don't know. Forgot his name.
John Baldwin.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. Like, no, McDermott doesn't feel like he's to blame. Yes, the injuries did seem to play a huge factor.
Oh, for sure.
Rasul Douglas was not 100%. You could very well tell he was not full speed, usually trailing behind the plays. AJ Klein, while a nice story in the wild card round, got woefully exposed this game. They went after him right from the jump, and especially in the passing game where he is, as we've seen throughout AJ Klein's Bills career, not very strong in pass coverage. They took advantage of that. Travis Kelce had a huge game, which is kind of a rarity for Travis Kelce this season. So I don't know. Like, you obviously didn't have Rapp. You obviously didn't have Christian Benford. Who's just asking for 2 to 3 stops, just like I do in every Chiefs playoff game we play. It seems like we can just not do anything to stop the Chiefs, whether it's getting to Patrick Mahomes and finishing plays, whether it's covering maybe the one guy who he should cover in Travis Kelce. Sean McDermott just has never figured out how to cover Travis Kelce or how to make adjustments to covering Travis Kelce in any playoff game we've played the Chiefs, it seems like. I don't know. Like, I do put this one on McDermott. Like, it felt like it was there. You just needed 2 stops, and you can't do it. Like, I mean, they punted once. They had 5 third downs.
I should put it this way.
The defensive line was non-existent.
The defensive line was non-existent. I should put it this way. I don't put it on McDermott's decisions. I put it more towards execution than I do put it on McDermott's decisions. And I put it more on scheme availability than I do put it on McDermott's like in the moment decisions. I think that the defensive line was maybe like anything that we say that's like whoever didn't execute, whoever needed to be better, even one of them could have been the 2 or 3 stops that we're talking about. That would have been the difference maker. Whether it was that if only the defensive line stepped up a little bit, if only Milano hadn't gotten injured, if only Douglas hadn't gotten injured, if only Rapp hadn't gotten injured, if only Gabe Davis was there, if like the whole injury list, if only we went for it on fourth down just with the offense instead of with the special teams. If only the wind didn't blow in that particular moment to throw off Tyler Bass and get in his head and do whatever. If only the halftime show wasn't flag football teams scrimmaging.
Okay, can we just pause for a second? Can we talk about this?
We're pausing. Okay.
Halftime shows, maybe the biggest reason for the Bills' playoff collapses the past couple seasons. Last year we had the very disappointing speed painter. This year
was rough.
This year we had violin players last week.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Yeah, that was rough. And that Survivor guy.
It is the playoffs, Buffalo Bills. You need to bring it in all phases, not only the players on the field, not only the pregame hype, but also halftime shows. You gave us the great corgi races weeks ago. You never match that level. You never match corgi level. Whether it's a speed painter last year, whether it's violin players this year, we need better halftime shows. We got to keep the energy up. These halftime shows are killing us.
How do you do it? How do you do it in the playoffs? How do you do it? Like you only know the situation of how to book them like 6 days before.
I don't know. You need a better act.
You gotta have someone.
Have
someone on call.
Give me superstars. Give me trampoline dunkers.
You think you're booking You think you're booking the superstars 6 days in advance? What am I hearing?
Have you ever seen the superstars?
Yeah, you think the superstars are just
Magic.
waiting around to be booked 6 days later? That takes months.
Blow them up and get out there, superstars.
Months. The superstars have things going on.
Give me that mentalist guy who's always on Hard Knocks. Give me something like that.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I love mentalism as an entertainment piece. So
blow my mind.
Yeah.
Do something. Violin players, speed painters, super talented. Never going to discredit that. Not enough energy for playoff atmosphere. I'm sorry.
No.
There you go, Roy. Perfect. Taylor Swift was there.
Yeah, she usually performs for free. Just get her the money.
How about a mascot game? Peppa Pig is there. You don't want to see mascots.
That's a good point.
And Peppa Pig
a good point.
Tackling a Pee Wee football team.
That is a good point. Get Peppa Pig involved.
Peppa Pig hits the Heisman.
Just have Peppa Pig race
on Little Billy.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
I will always stand for mascot versus Pee Wee football team halftime games.
Yeah.
That is just pure entertainment.
Yeah.
That's the kind of energy you need in the playoffs.
You can get away with murder in one of those games. The liabilities don't exist in those games.
Yeah. These kids are not filling out waivers. These mascots are having their moment because they're anonymous. They're not showing their faces. They can go stiff arm little 7-year-old Billy into the earth, Derrick Henry, Josh Norman style, and get away with it.
And they will, and they should.
And they will, and they will, and they should. So I thought the defensive line was a huge disappointment. And somebody mentioned in the comments here, was it Jared? Yeah, defensive line was healthy, and it got destroyed. That's a great point.
Yeah.
The defensive line unit was the only healthy unit out there. And I thought Daquan Jones had a great game. And again, extend Daquan Jones, please. That should have happened the minute you walked off the field. Yeah, that guy is really, really good. And we'll get into pending free agents for the Bills next week. But Ed Oliver had one of the worst games I've seen him play. AJ Epinesa and Leonard Floyd, again, just ghosts. Do you know the both of them combined? I put it on Twitter this week as to who I want back and who I don't. AJ Epinesa and Leonard Floyd, the past 8 weeks, playoffs included, 2.5 sacks total. One for Floyd, 1.5 for AJ Epinesa. Awful. They were the Gabe Davis of the defense, putting up zeros on that stat sheet.
Yeah, that's shocking.
I don't want those guys back.
After that strong start, we were so impressed.
Yeah. Again, like you mentioned, the Bills, week 18 is just the plateau, is the peak. But 2.5 sacks total for 8 weeks. That's especially when you have a non-existent Vaughn, when Shaq Lawson's not really the pass rusher, get to the quarterback, collapse the pocket guy. Greg Rousseau is, I don't know. I like Greg Rousseau, but I think Brandon Beane, again, wild tangent here. Brandon Beane
This is about to be a
needs
hot take that I cannot handle. Okay, go on.
He just needs to change his philosophy when it comes to edge rushers. Like, stop with the size, technique, bull rush guy. Give me the quick twitch, bend, speed, collapses the pocket, puts pressure on the quarterback every snap kind of guy. Like, the philosophy just needs to change. No more AJ Epinezas. And Leonard Floyd is kind of that, but he's kind of getting old now, and he's got some tread on the tires in terms of bendy and speed guys. Like, he used to be that when he was in his early years, but as we saw towards the later end of the season here, he kind of fell off. But give me just the speed dudes. They don't need to be 270, 6'3", like 240. Like, just give me guys who can every snap be a threat to get to the quarterback in some way. Like, that's what it comes down to me, is like, I'm done with the AJ Epinezas. I'm done with the Gregory Rousseaus, even though I like Rousseau more than Epinesa. I just need a whole new philosophy from Brandon Beane when it comes to edge rushers. And I really think he's going to target edge rusher in the draft coming up here, because I don't know if you re-sign Floyd. I don't know if you re-sign Epinesa. So that's my whole rant about the defensive edges, especially.
I mean, we'll talk about signings and not signings, but it is very interesting because so many players had hot streaks and cold streaks this year. And so it truly is like, it's going to be some weird decisions and some tough decisions. But also a lot of that could be, some of that's also injuries that we don't even know about.
Yeah, and we probably never will know about.
We never will. And that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, they're especially on the defensive side. Yes, they need a number one receiver, or not a number one receiver, but Diggs is the number one receiver. I still think Diggs is very good. They need another weapon as Dalton Kincaid evolves.
Multiple weapons.
Do they on offense? I don't know.
You just want another outside receiver that's not Gabe. Is that all you're saying you want?
Yeah, give me a boundary receiver. Yeah, give me a boundary receiver who doesn't have 0 catches, 0 targets.
Because in the slot, obviously, you're satisfied with Shakir.
50% of his games. Yeah, Shakir's the slot guy. So if you go Diggs, Kincaid, Shakir, you're kind of set. Cook.
Mark.
When Cook hits the jugs machine this summer, I wish, please, every day, James Cook, like your Michael Jordan shooting free throws, like do 100 jugs machine catches. Like, he has the most timely drops, and not in a good way.
I could go anything for else. I go for another X Factor kind of guy that's not Hardy.
Well, we do have Hardy under contract 1 more year, right? I believe.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. But a different kind of.
Yeah, like I just watch guys like Zay Flowers, and I'm just like, go give me a Zay Flowers.
Yeah,
like that dude, or.
So you want a receiver class than Shakir? You're bouncing all over the place at this point, man.
Yeah, Flowers isn't really a slot. He's kind of in the Tyreek Hill mold to me. He doesn't feel like a
that's
pure
how they use him.
Guy.
That's scheme. That's what I've been trying to say.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just give me a uber talented guy. If you looked at this year's draft class, like Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, like those kind of guys who are just dogs who just get after it and have a diverse route tree and can get open in multiple places on the field and multiple levels on the field. Like, don't just give me like the Gabe Davis kind of limited guy, like who might potentially become something. Like, give me the guy who's super good now. And we'll get into draft stuff later on in the coming weeks here. But number 2 weapon. But I feel like besides that number 2 wide receiver weapon, it's going to be all defense. Like, there are so many holes on this defense.
Yeah, I know.
I think Micah Hyde retires. Jordan Poyer's in his last year and, was hit or miss this year.
Isn't good.
The linebacking core was decimated at the end of the year. Milano comes back, hopefully, to his all-pro self. And you run with Bernard and you run with Dorian Williams. But, that's secondary. The defensive line, the defense needs to be just injected with a youth movement here.
And on the defense, and so many contracts are inspiring on the D line, so that's going to be heavy turnover in that respect, also.
Ed Oliver is currently the only guy under contract, defensive tackle. Trey's a huge question too, yeah.
And we're going to need a new number 4 safety / running back.
Damar Hamlin, yes.
Yeah.
Somebody put it in the comments. I want to get to that one. Somebody said, like, we know why they gave the ball to Damar. Yeah, it was Cole here. We know why it was Hamlin.
That did cross my mind. Did that cross your mind?
Yeah.
We're trying to make a
All the
hero
talk
here?
about, like, comeback player of the year. It's like, give him one highlight play.
Right.
There was a lot of things on the internet of, like, videos of, like, a kid at a college game who, like, suits up and they let him run into the end zone. It's like that's what McDermott was hoping for when they handed it off to Hamlin. Just like the seas part, and he's just like, "Go ahead, Damar, this is your moment."
Mhm.
Unfortunately, not. But any other like notable disappointments? Like Steph Diggs, like again, just kind of disappearing in a crucial game. And I agree with you. Like you brought up Joe Brady's scheme and how the offense was run this game, and I didn't like it either. I think Joe Brady's done a really good job at adapting midseason a Ken Dorsey playbook and a Ken Dorsey offense and kind of just modernizing it a little with very simple things like pre-snap motion and crossing routes. The missed throw to Shakir in the end zone at the end of the game, like Diggs was coming across wide open pretty much. Yes, there's safeties bearing down on him if you look at the all 22, but like that was the safe play. But again, like Diggs throughout the offseason was just chirping and cryptic and whatever, and there was a sense of disappointment or anger or frustration, whatever you thought was coming from Diggs. Your moment was there, buddy. Like, you got to step up, and when you don't step up, I don't need you to be like, this close. Like, no, make that play. Like, that's the play they've been missing all season, is that home run play. They haven't hit on barely any of those.
Yeah.
So while, yes, I was disappointed with Joe Brady in throwing 16 times behind the line of scrimmage, which was absurd, considering Josh was getting all day. The offensive line was holding up very well to give him time to go through progressions, for guys to run their route trees to their full, and for him to find those guys. Guys needed to execute. Trent Sherfield, I know you haven't been a focal point of this offense all season, but your number's called. I need you to step up. Stephon Diggs, I need you to make a catch. I don't need you to go like this. I need you to go like, yeah, that was on me. I need to make that play. I don't know. There's a lot of disappointment around. So I don't know when we look at the offense as a whole, like, do you think Joe Brady is the right guy for the job? Obviously, they interviewed him today, first round of interviews. But do you think they just go with Joe Brady moving forward?
I think that's the way it's going to shake out. But I'm like, I'm looking elsewhere. I'm looking to see what else is out there. I'm intrigued by what else is out there. Okay. Or I'm intrigued by the concept of there being something else out there, I should say. But right now, I guess I would be like disappointed if it ends up being Joe Brady, even though I think that's the way it's going to be.
Really?
I think he's simplistic. I think that he's too slow to adjust. I think that the offense is boring, even though it gets the job done. Like, it gets the production necessary, but I'm missing the fireworks that we know Allen can launch. Yeah.
I think it's fair.
That's kind of what I'm looking at. I mean, you look at a Detroit, and they know how to utilize their weapons. And that's what I'm talking about. But you also look at that as like, you just got to hit, like I said earlier in the show, like you just got to hit on the innovative up-and-coming offensive coordinator. And Joe Brady, I just kind of don't think he's that. So I'm seeing what else is out there, but in some ways, I'm also like a little intrigued by a veteran, proven offensive coordinator, like a fired head coach who's an offensive background guy. In some ways,
I don't want that.
I don't know. Like in some ways, in some ways, I'm more ample to trust that than taking a gamble on an up and comer. You know,
See, I
because
am
we
so
know that like it's more likely, I feel like, with those veteran proven offensive coordinators that you put them with like a great quarterback and it just like it ends up working and it's fine. And I mean, for you to have Josh and for you to only produce what you did, that's like the scariest part. When I'm looking at like Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers, and Nathaniel Hackett is an imbecile. And like
that's
he's
true.
still stepping up
But Aaron
and
Rodgers
doing
still
it. Like,
produces.
right, exactly.
Yeah. Nathaniel Hackett is an imbecile. Yeah. We'll ride that one to the grave
This
with
one
us.
this
Josh
we
Allen's
know.
passing stats were not great. 26 for 39. If you're completing 26 passes and you only get 186 yards, like, I don't know, something's off there. But again, I go back to the point of like, this isn't for what we know, and we're not an X's and O's show, and there's a lot of great Bills shows out there that dive into the X's and O's. But for adapting a Ken Dorsey playbook, for maybe not having his guys, Joe Brady, that is, having
Right.
his guys out there or in this scheme. I don't know. I kind of want to see what he can do. And I'm absolutely the opposite of you. I would never take a retread coach. There seems to be like this club, like once you're in it, like you get every job in the world. Like the Falcons, for example, just hired Raheem Morris or speculated to hire Raheem Morris. Why? We've seen it before. He's not a good head coach. Like, what's changed? People are interviewing Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn was a disaster in Atlanta. Like, why are you interviewing him to be a head coach? I would never do a retread. I would take every shot at an up and coming, forward thinking, progressive Mike McDaniel type guy in the offense's case. Like Mike McDaniel is doing that right now in Miami with the defense.
Right.
It's like 3 years of just retread guys, Vic Fangio, whoever else, just doesn't work. Like, and the GM Chris Greer fired him every single year. Like, we're on the fourth straight defensive coach in the straight year for Miami. So I think the Bills are in a tough position because if they do hire a guy who is up and coming like a Bobby Babich to be defensive coordinator, which I think they're going to have to give him that title or he's going to get scooped up either if it's not this year, definitely next year. We see Eric Washington, who I'm not a fan of. I think you're a little more warm to him than I am, but did an interview with Chicago recently. Okay, well, we agree then. Like, give me that new, fresh mind who has new ideas, who can evolve the game.
And in some ways, don't you think it's just like, because it's like it's the same scheme that Josh has always been in. Like, this is real. Like, we brought Dorsey in on continuity from Dable being gone. We're continuing with that continuity with basically Brady calling Dorsey's plays or some version of that. And now you're telling me like we're just gonna, like, in some ways you just want to, like, in some ways, if your argument is we've hit the ceiling with a McDermott, well, I know what's been consistent the whole time. That is like, maybe that's the ceiling. Maybe just the offensive scheme is the ceiling. Maybe this Dable, Dorsey, Brady, continuity. Maybe you just need to flush that out, start anew, figure out like a blank canvas here.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point, and maybe it's just starting anew, like the Eagles did when Andy Reid was their coach. Like, they made the NFC Championship multiple times. They just kind of figured he wasn't the guy to get him over the hump and moved on, and it worked out to a degree. They made the Super Bowl and with Doug Peterson and all, and they won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. Like, who does that? Nobody, because Nick Foles is awful. But maybe we just hit Sean McDermott's peak, and he'll
Well,
never
I'm
get
not
over the
saying that.
hump.
I'm not saying that we hit Sean McDermott's peak, Matt. I'm saying
Oh,
that
I thought you were saying that.
no, I'm saying that we've hit this
Oh.
offensive scheme's peak. The
Ah.
defense is fine. I take no issue with the defense.
How do you not take an issue with the defense when like the stats of this game are just abysmal? Like
Because that's this game. That's
I'm gonna read to
I'm
you
not
the
hiring
last
a defensive
three.
coordinator for one game. I'm hiring him for seasons. So
Yeah, but the one
don't drop
game
some
he
anecdotal
falters.
evidence on me like that's going to matter.
Yeah, but the one game he falls in is the one you're eliminated. Like it ends the season.
Okay, cherry pick all you want, but that doesn't mean you hire a new person. Matt, if I had in my position, if a principal said to me, Mr. Ambrose, your stats are great, tons of kids are passing the Regents exams, scores are out of this world for the Regents exam, like passing rate super high, but man, that little Matty Marvelous, he can't pass the Regents exam. He's tried 3 times. He just can't pass the Regents exam. They're not going to fire me because Matt can't pass the Regents exam.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Am I Matty Marvelous?
Yeah, you're Matty Marvelous. That's what they call you. To your face and behind her back, Matty Marvelous hosting
You
the
said
show.
you wouldn't bring it up. You said you wouldn't bring up the Regents.
Well, here we are.
Here we are. I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying move on from McDermott. I'm just saying, like, I think he's a good coach, and I think it's very hard to find a good coach in this league. I think his record backs it up. I think the support he got from the players all throughout his tenure, and especially this year after the tie down article, and the job he did, just getting the Bills to the playoffs. Like we were 6-6 at one point. I never thought, and I thought it was lowball of Travis Kelce after the game in the handshake line of, when he dapped up Josh and be like, I can't believe you guys are here. Like, all right, well, we're a good team too, guy. Like, don't think we're like some charity case that's like, I can't believe you guys are here. But to Kelsey's point, like, it kind of is unbelievable that we were there because we were left for dead 12 weeks into the season. And they rallied around McDermott, and McDermott, through all the injuries on defense, got him to the playoffs and got him to another divisional round. And again, it's tough to make the playoffs. I don't want to sound like a Sean McDermott like clone here of like, it's tough to win games in the NFL. It's like, well, yeah, but if you're super talented and you're really good and you're good coaching and you scheme right and, you should win games in the NFL. The job he did this year was really admirable, like more than that, because injuries and media and whatever else came his way.
Doing
the
two
team
jobs.
Rose above.
Doing two jobs. Firing an offensive coordinator halfway through the season, dealing with 2 of those. Insane injuries. A blizzard.
Do you think he
this is the conversation we had last year too, when we were talking about all the adversity that they faced.
When we lost to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's deja vu.
Well, we lost to the Bengals.
Oh, the Bengals. Yeah, I'm sorry. Chiefs before that, and divisional round losses. They all blend together at this point. Do you think like Sean McDermott just kind of like loses himself when the pressure is so high? Like calling for that fake punt, or maybe he didn't call for it, but again, he's the head coach. He's the ultimate decision maker. He can very well say, no, we're not doing this. Do you think he just kind of like, I have no answers. I don't know how to stop it on defense, so I'm going to throw a fake punt in there. Do you think he just kind of like loses himself and
I think it's all very situational. I don't think that I'm willing to commit to say that I've seen a pattern with that. I think it's all very situational, and that like in this situation, I think that he did say what you said, in the sense of like, well, we want to go for it, and I believe in my guys. And I think in some sense that's a piece of it of he believes in his guys, he believes in his staff, he believes in maintaining like a workplace culture, that he's like, if Smiley wants to do this, I'm gonna support him. And maybe to an extent there's a fault with that.
Yeah, there's a fault with that. Roy brings up a good point here when we talk about the offensive deficiencies this game. We had 0 plays of 20 plus yards. The Chiefs had 8. Like it just can't happen. And I'm so sick of, to that point, like the end of season press conferences of like, well, yeah, we need to get more explosive plays. And last year was like, yeah, we need to get yards after the catch. It's like,
right.
yeah, you know this stuff. Like this has been the trend all season.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you talking about it now? Talk about it throughout the season and do things to help out, fix the offense throughout the season to do that. You know you lacked explosive plays all year. Figure out a way to add that during the season if you think that's the path to success. Don't talk about it after the season as like, oh, we're going to do that next year. No, do it this year because that's going to help you this year.
Mm-hmm.
That drives me nuts. And I know like a lot of the postseason locker cleanout day press conference media portions are just fodder, just like I suspect Sean McDermott's anytime he talks to the media is just kind of him just obliging and saying whatever, and nothing really holds weight of how he thinks or how he approaches things or how he takes this season in this case. But it's like that those are the sound bites that really get my goat, is like, if you knew you were not good at this, like figure out a way to be good at this during the season. If you think that's the path to success, don't talk about it after the season. I don't want to hear about it. It's over. It's too late.
Well, I think that was in response to this game, particularly what he was saying. But I mean, this game was a representation of some things that I thought we were lacking, that the offense was not explosive enough, that the defense wasn't deep enough, that the hockey leagues aren't fair enough, that the weather isn't forgiving enough. Whatever else we got.
Yeah. The corgis aren't fast enough.
The corgis aren't fast enough. That's what the title of this episode should be.
The corgis aren't fast enough.
Yeah, because like that's just, there's something beautifully poetic about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 0-1 when Peppa Pig comes to the stadium, so that never needs to happen again. I don't care what Paramount is pushing. I don't need to see that pig again. This is a good point Carl made here. And again, thank you for the comments. If you haven't hit the like, please hit the like. Take 1 second. We really appreciate it. It helps us out a ton. Super chats, if you want to super chat us and show us some love, please feel free to do that as well. Carl says, my biggest fear is that Josh Allen will become modern day Dan Marino. I think I've heard that a lot actually this week, where Dan Marino was the best quarterback of his era, better than Jim Kelly. I'm a Bills fan. I'll still say it. And just could never win the big one. He got to a Super Bowl, but he could never win the big one.
That's the thing.
I'm hearing a lot of like,
we're not
Josh
using
Allen.
It's not just that we're not like achieving what Josh can achieve, but it's that we're not even utilizing Josh to his full potential. He's not like, it's whatever. It's like an office space when they're like, we think you're not challenging him enough and not utilizing him to what he's capable of.
Yeah.
Like that, it's we're flooding Josh with TPS reports here instead of letting his wings come out of the cocoon in full.
And after Sunday, we all had a case of the Mondays. That's for sure.
That's another group. Yes.
We could use a lot of Office Space references. Like we could smash the game tape like they smashed their fax machines.
That'd be fun. Go to
Monday
like a
morning drive.
That'd be a good episode.
Smash Room would be a great idea.
Smash Room. Yeah.
In the new stadium, a Smash Room. That's
Smash
a great idea.
Stadium. Yes.
That needs to happen. Yes. Some place to take out all your frustrations for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Although giving weapons to drunk Bills Mafia is maybe not the best idea, but in a confined space.
No, not weapons. Space, no, confined
maybe
space.
It works out.
And just bring all the junk from the old stadium over and store it in a room and then let people destroy it.
That's really going to lift the curse, is like we need to finally destroy the old relics of the old
we can't just
stadium.
not use it. We have to exercise the demons out of it.
Yes.
Through destruction.
That's what it's going to come down to.
Mm-hmm.
I like this idea. Like, forget the just freeze baby signs. We need a smash room.
Yeah. And
why did they use that slogan?
What is it?
We had 2 straight weeks of the stadium being under snow, and you don't use the just freeze baby. It's in your promo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just freeze baby. I wonder if Legends, the architecture company,
concept art.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's got trademarked by Legends, by the architecture company.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, they're like, oh, this is good. We're gonna trademark this right away. Just freeze,
Take a look
baby.
at the promotional concept art. Just freeze, baby. Apparently, it's the saying everyone is saying these days, which I've never heard anyone say "just freeze, baby." But apparently, the Bills think it's a thing and want to make it a thing.
Well,
so
I had a lot of fun.
The moment was there.
Show.
A moment was there.
I had a lot of fun on it when this show, when those like sketches came out, and we were like,
yeah.
We both immediately had the same thought of like, what is just freeze, baby?
Right.
But we said it like 55 times.
Yeah, I mean, where did it come from? I don't know.
If their goal was to make it a thing, they did successfully do it for us. For a moment,
they did successfully do it for sure. We can't go a show without mentioning the He-Wolf was howling. Oh, what a play on that touchdof, Josh!
Yeah.
Incredible throw, incredible extension of the play, and He-Wolf just very amazing He-Wolf-like concentration. And of course, hashtag He-Wolf, Khalil Shakir. He is really, we've known it all along, but now everyone, I think, in Bills Mafia is getting on board of what a revelation this guy is as a true weapon that can be utilized. Like, he made not only that catch for a touchdown, but there was another catch earlier in the game for a first down in Chiefs territory that was like a super low, like, and he just strong hands and just made an incredible catch. And he's got great hands, as He-Wolves do. They just have the best superpowers ever. But no, He-Wolf has been a amazing revelation. He is awesome. Tony, I know you were howling at the stadium. I was howling at home.
Yep.
And going into the season, it's like, yes, Diggs is your pseudo number one, really good number two. Maybe you go get a number one. But in terms of that slot position that we've been searching for, that next Cole Beasley, if you will, or Josh has a safety valve, a guy he just can trust to run those intermediate to short routes and catch the ball no matter how fast or how much zip to put. Like, He-Wolf's that guy now. He-Wolf is that guy you can trust to make a play when you need to be that safety valve when the pocket collapses or the play breaks down. He-Wolf is that dude.
I couldn't agree more. He's had a fantastic season. He's had a fantastic coming out party. All those stats that he's like, his catch ratios are fantastic and number one, and he's the guy that we trust the most. Towards the second half of the season, he led in receptions and yards.
Yep.
Matt, all I can say is, we know talent on this show because we had this picked out the whole time. It was clear as day from the start to us, and I'm glad that he's blossoming into everything that we knew he could be and more.
Everything we hoped and dreamed he could be.
I think we're hoping and dreaming he could be like the next number one. He's like a superstar, which maybe he will be. Who knows?
I never got he's not going to be like the next Randy Moss or somebody.
Oh, not like Randy Moss, like that.
But he could be the next Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, just a guy who gets 80 catches, 1,000+ yards, 5+ touchdowns, easily.
He can play outside too. Like, part of me is like, maybe we'll see. I don't know. I don't want it to happen because I'm pretty comfortable with him in the slot because it's been going so well. But
it has been going really well.
He's really good, so it's great.
Yeah, I think that's like one green check mark for Joe Brady is or two, I should say. One being that he knows he has this talent that he seems to know how to utilize, and now it's about getting him the right guys.
Right.
Ken Dorsey didn't really use Khalil Shakir that much. Didn't use Deontay Hardy. We saw Deontay Hardy have a couple big catches towards the end of the year. Even James Cook in the running game, it sort of evolved with him and Ty Johnson as the season went on, and was much more successful under Brady than I thought it was under Dorsey. So, but not only that, it's like Joe Brady knows what to do on third, second, whatever, fourth, and short. And that is run Josh Allen with a QB sneak. Yes, it goes to the left every time, but guess what? Despite that we know it's going to the left, despite the defense knowing it's going to the left, it still works because it is the most successful play in NFL history. 86, I think, percent success rate on 4th and 1, 3rd and 1 yard or less. QB sneak works. And if Joe Brady knows that and runs it and continues to run it, whether it's week 2 or the divisional round of the playoffs, Joe Brady's A-okay in my book. That's all I'm saying. I don't ever want to see a Latavius Murray shotgun snap on 3rd and 1 ever again.
Correct.
Or any shotgun snap for that matter.
Correct.
So that is my final point. I don't know. We talked about the defensive line. Some comments coming in here. Con Miller. Nice. I think Con Miller's a con to himself. Like, Von Miller's his own worst enemy. Like, everything that comes out of this guy's mouth is BS. Nothing ever happens.
But he believes it himself.
But he believes it.
That's what sells
he
it.
believes
He's
it.
the con to himself. Yeah.
Right. The only thing he didn't believe is he would become Dancing with the Stars champion, and he actually became Dancing with the Stars champion. So maybe Von Miller should not believe in things and not say things, because if he doesn't, they come true. Tony, any final thoughts as we wrap up here?
Looking forward to what should be an action-packed offseason.
Yeah. If you thought this show went off the rails during the season,
yeah, I know.
Boy, do we got stuff in the
offseason. In some ways, like, this was the last push.
We got to get real creative.
Yeah. In some ways, this was like the last push of the initial wave of Bean McDermott, and now, like, the next wave attempt comes in. You know what I mean, Matt? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the next wave.
I guess basically, like, we look at that as, like, Hyde Poyer, like that, the end of that era, and like that's sort of symbolic of the whole thing. Hyde Poyer, Gabe, like it's all like it's phasing out and phasing in the new wave. So maybe the new wave will make waves.
I feel like for any video game players out there, there's a video game genre called RTS, real-time strategy, and it's like a wave of enemies comes at you, and you have to defend your base or whatever. And then you kind of rebuild your base and get supplies and build your armies back up. And then another wave comes. That's the Bills right now. It's like every season is just a wave of enemies, and we either defeat them or don't in some way, shape, or form. And then we have to build our base back up in the off season. Like that's what we're in a real life RTS here. Roy gets it. Tony, we can't wait for UFL season. That's when the real action starts.
In many ways, yeah,
that's when real football starts.
Roy gets it.
We can't wait to watch Jeff Fisher be his mediocre coaching self again. Carl, thank you. Awesome. I think we will not hear about Josh playing golf and about his social calendar this offseason. I predict that Josh will work out with Jordan Palmer again. Good. I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so too. Thank you for the awesome super chat there, Carl. We really appreciate that. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Josh's offseason plays out, and we'll talk about that in the weeks coming up. Because this past offseason was a lot of Josh in the spotlight at the Masters, Madden cover, Hollywood Girlfriend. Like, we'll see if he dials it back. I kind of don't want him to. Josh is charismatic. He's funny. I don't know. Give me more Josh. Remember him at the NFL Honors a couple years ago? After the 13 seconds?
Yeah, the joke. The joke killed.
The joke killed. He killed. Of like how both teams should get the ball in overtime. The man is made for the spotlight. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yes, go back working with Jordan Palmer. Work on your reads. Work on taking the short stuff when when it's available to you, Josh.
That's true.
As Tony and I watch the UFL take off and be awesome. Tony, any final thoughts about this game particular? And once again, everyone, thank you for commenting and liking. We really appreciate all the comments today.
Yeah, this game in particular, I'm ready to close the book on and move on emotionally and physically.
I think
I'm
that's
ready
only
to
right
move
to
on.
do.
I'm ready to move
Ready
on.
to move on. We'll talk about moving on from some free agents. We'll talk about our favorite plays of the year in the upcoming
Yeah, that's
week.
what I just said. I said I'm ready to move on.
Stuff.
Move on.
Oh, right now.
MOVEVON.
Right now. Moving on.
No, did you hear what I said?
MOVE.
VON. I'm ready to move on.
Oh, move on. I didn't phonetically
there you go.
Piece it together.
No,
there.
I meant move on.
Move on.
Move ON.
Move on from
and
Vaughn.
Move VON.
I think we all are. It was funny because like he made 2 plays and McDermott's like, yeah, I really thought he got it towards the end there. It's like, yeah,
Yep.
he had 5 tackles all year.
Well, not enough.
He made
$3
to $4 million per tackle. Like that's not a guy I want on this team. Yeah, I'm ready to move on too. What do you say we move on from this episode though, Tony?
That's exactly the segue I was trying to set you up for.
Perfect. Great segue. We're really clicking on all cylinders here. Thank you to our sponsor, of course, Traveling Growler, www.travelinggrowler.com. Quality koozie starting at just $5. Awesome gift for loved ones or yourself as the weather gets hopefully warmer here. I mean, it's been freezing the whole time, past 3 weeks, but you need your drink to be cold. So get a Traveling Growler, great local product, support local business as you support this local podcast. Thank you, everyone. For the comments. Snort. What? I don't know. Oh, okay. I get it. Do you get that reference, Tony? Snort?
Oh, I don't know. I thought I made a noise.
It could go
like
so many ways. It can go from a Tony sneeze to a Peppa Pig reference. I like it. I like that it can go many ways with the snort reference. Thank you to our sponsor, Traveling Growler, www.travelinggrowler.com. If you haven't tuned in from the start, please check out our apparel store. Support the podcast, teespring.com. Search Witty Not Funny, all one word. Or Google search Teespring Witty Not Funny. Check out all the designs. We'll be adding to it throughout the off season. We got Bills designs, Sabres designs, anything you can think of, usually pop culture based, as we like to mention pop culture references throughout our show, as listeners and viewers know. So check out the store today for a cool design. T-shirts, sweatshirts, crew necks, hoodies. We got it all. So all sizes, all colors. Check it out. Witty Not Funny, Teespring. Tony, where can the listeners follow us? At Witty Sports 716, as I get this overlay off. On Twitter, X, and Instagram, Witty Not Funny Sports. On Facebook and TikTok. Please give us a follow on all platforms. We love following back. We love connecting with the Buffalo sports fans, Bills Mafia, Saber Swords people. Trademark pending for that fan group name. Still working on it. Patent pending, trademark pending. But give us a follow. We love following back. Our best stuff is on X and Twitter. That's where we're most active. But follow us on all platforms. And thank you for everyone for liking, commenting, subscribing, for viewing, whether you give us 2 minutes or 2 hours of your time. We greatly appreciate that. And we truly do mean that. We know we're just 2 goofballs sometimes, and there's a lot of great shows out there, and we appreciate you guys tuning into ours and taking this journey with us, if you will. I got into my slam poetry, so I'm feeling very sentimental, going on a journey with this off season, I think. If you're tuning in on audio afterwards, if you want to listen back to this show, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast for free on the Built in Buffalo Podcast Network at Built in Buffalo _ of course. Go check out all the shows. And as a send-off, Tony, thank you everyone for listening and viewing tonight and commenting. And of course, as we always say on this show, go Bills and stay witty out there, everyone. Thanks. Peace.
Bye.
Bye. Later.